Welcome, kind listeners, to Under the Banyan Tree.
A live show where ancient epics meet modern minds.
I'm Leo, a yogini from the West,
And I am Mayank, a rationalist from the East.
and together we journey through the Mahabharata from the retelling of Ramesh Menon, epic of war, faith, and everything in between. So, Mayank, what are we covering today and what's our Sankalpa?
So, our intention today, our Sankalpa today, is to cover the first two chapters of the book. The first chapter is on the banks of Ganga, and the second chapter is a tale of two curses. And we want to read these two chapters, understand these two chapters through our theme today, which is loneliness.
Good. So, today is my turn of doing Shravan, right?
Yes. So, yeah, you need to summarize and then probably we can talk about the theme and where we found the theme. So, I invite you to do the practice of Shravan. The practice of Shravan is hearing. So, and Leo, please summarize us whatever you read in this chapter.
Okay, bear with me. I'm not great with this. They are two chapters and three different stories. I will give my best, and after we discuss a little bit about our team, our Sankalpa. So off we go. I'm getting ready. Okay, so two chapters. And our story starts with the king of Hastinapur hunting, and he reached the banks of the river and he meets Ganga. He's completely smitten. They are both smitten by each other. And Shantanu asks her to get married with him. She says yes, under two conditions. First condition, never ask me who I am. Second condition, never question my actions, even if they look like terrible. She accepts. After 1 year of blissful love, they have their first child, and Ganga drowns the first newborn. And she does this to the next six just born babies. And Shantanu grows more and more tormented, terrified, and at the birth of the eighth child, she stops Ganga. And she says, okay, now I will leave you because you broke your oath. However, I will tell you why have I done this. So before she starts telling the two curses, she shows her divine form, gaining his trust again. And she starts with the first curse that it's about him and her. So in the past, in another life of Shantanu, where heaven and earth they were close to each other, they met at the heavens in some event. And Shantanu and Ganga, in that time he was Mahabhishek, they were gazing with a lot of interest, and the gods got offended. So Indra or Brahma, we'll figure it out later, they cursed them to a human life where they could fulfill their desires. So that's that. And after the second curse is the curse of the eight vasos. So one time they came down to earth and they saw a beautiful cow with a calf, and they decided to steal that cow. However, that cow belonged to a very powerful sage. So the sage cursed them, and the curse was to be born on earth in a human life, in a human form. After the sage got a little bit more forgiving and said seven of them will be in the womb of the mother for 9 months, but they will die at birth. But the last one, the one that seized the cow, he would live a long human life. And knowing all of this now, Ganga just says, now I'm leaving. I'm taking our child with me. After 16 years, I will return him to you. And Shantanu stays all alone in Hastinapur. So this is my long summary.
No, that was an excellent summary. You more or less covered all the bases. I don't think you left anything in the story which I need to fill. Um, yeah, just one thing probably.
Well,
Uh,
I missed one thing that I
yeah,
consider important.
the name of the sage was Vashisht.
Yes.
So Vashisht is a very famous, and again, I think Vashisht is also a position which you can attain. So if you
Okay.
become a great rishi, you can become Vashisht. So Vashisht was that rishi from whom those Vasus they tried to steal the cow, and therefore they were cursed.
And the
But
cow was Nandini.
yeah, the cow was Nandini, which is a very common name for, like,
And her milk would give eternal life to humans.
yeah, she was a divine cow.
Yeah.
So that's why also they felt that urge to steal that
That's the
cow.
thing. The part that I missed that I find that it's important was actually the wife of one of the Vasus. And to be honest, like they don't need the cow.
Yeah.
Okay, they are immortals.
Yeah.
And the wives, they started tormenting him and questioning their masculinity, their manhood.
Yes.
And oh, you are afraid of a mortal, of a sage. And I didn't mention that, and I consider it important.
Yeah, but I think those are like details.
Oh, I'm all about details.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are reading or going through these two chapters with the lenses of loneliness. So what for you, what's loneliness?
So for me, I didn't search any meaning because I just wanted to uh, keep it the way I feel about it. And I just wrote that feeling of having no company is loneliness, and therefore it can also be there when you have people around, but still if you have that lingering feeling of having no company, I think it can be classified as loneliness.
Is there any word in Hindi that has exactly the same meaning for you?
I think usually we use akelapan.
Kailapan.
Yeah, akela means alone usually, but adding a pun to it, it becomes a feeling. That feeling of being alone or feeling of being lonely. So, or in very pure Hindi, it can be ekakipan, but I think people only use akelapan as a word. But yeah, like, but that's also a thing. Like now, there's so much influence of English on Hindi that people may use the word lonely uh, or loneliness to describe the feeling. So that's also very common.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I
Yeah.
have my definition of loneliness. It's a little bit more charged in the sense of it's the feeling of being utterly alone, and it has always a sadness into it. There's always a heaviness into it, especially because I like to make a distinction between solitude and loneliness. I think solitude is something very positive, and it's something that all of us should enjoy, our own company. Another thing is loneliness, to be, to feel that you are cast out and away and disconnected and without meaningful relationships. I think I give it a little bit more. I'm the drama queen, it seems, between the two of us. I bring it much more heaviness to it, especially because in West we talk of loneliness even as a disease.
Yeah, it's an epidemic going on currently for
Yeah,
sure.
and side like I, a side note is loneliness, it's a very recent word. So
Oh.
in the time where religion was much more preeminent among people, the word loneliness didn't exist, because the people would feel that at least they would have God or whatever archetype with them.
Hmm.
So they used to use the word oneness, like
Okay.
I'm only one.
Oh.
But the feeling of being without a meaningful relationship never existed, because they always had a meaningful relationship with God.
That that's at least something. That's something like and I would request our kind listeners to comment on this, because this for me was a revelation. But yeah, if people can feel that way, that they have a meaningful connection with God and therefore they don't feel lonely, I'm totally in for it. Like I'm totally happy for those people.
Talking about that, does a God can feel lonely, or is it too terrain emotion?
That's why we Hindus have many gods. So so that they don't feel lonely.
So okay, let's move on deeper into our Svadhyaya.
Yeah.
Uh,
So coming to Swadhyay, the practice where we are trying to read the text more meaningfully and deeply and reflect on it. So if I would like you to start in the story, where you found the theme? Um, can you bring, say, the first instance where you found the theme?
where where I really found the team, I think, was when Shantanu was trying to pull himself away from Ganga.
Mm-hmm.
So he was deeply hurt, and he was completely troubled. Imagine you see your wife killing your offspring, and you can't ask any question, and you can't do anything about it. You can't interfere. But he's completely in love with her, and he can't live without her. He
Hmm.
can't live without making love with her. So every moment that he tried to pull himself away from Ganga, I think they were moments of loneliness.
Yeah. And I actually also noted it down. And I don't know if you also noted, like, I actually made a note that I felt both of them were lonely, because
Mm.
so I wrote it this way, that Shantanu is lonely because he's going through this ordeal and he has to go through it in silence.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a note which probably you can reflect on or can share your insights. I felt he was addicted to Ganga. Like it's an addiction where you can't help yourself. And I know he loved her, but his helplessness,
When sex is good.
yeah, his helplessness was in such a way that he is addict. That's what I felt.
He wanted to drown in her waters.
Yeah, yeah. And I also felt that Ganga is lonely because she's doing a heinous act. She's getting judged, and especially when we saw the TV series, again the OG one, BR Chopra,
It's
Mahabharat.
very different from what it's written in the book.
Yeah, and there the whole kingdom is judging her, and the love of her life is judging her.
Yeah, I understand your point of view, and from a human perspective,
Hmm.
I would think, if it's a human, okay, I I would agree with you. However, Ganga, she's a divine being,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear at the end of the story, she says, "Our time is past,"
Yeah.
and she had that strength
Hmm.
of, okay, this is gone, this is past, we need to move on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think she would feel lonely, especially because she felt that she was fulfilling her purpose. It's in her waters that the sins of human are washed. And she was feeling that she was fulfilling her duty in relation to the Vasu.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, in the meantime, she could enjoy the company of her beloved. I, I my perception is that she had certain emotions,
Mm-hmm.
but not loneliness.
Yeah, maybe. But like the way I read it, to me, it felt that probably she is also lonely because I considered
Yeah.
her in human form. They both were cursed to be humans. So, at
Mm-hmm.
least for that time being, even though she was found magically and everything, I felt that maybe she
Probably.
may be going through those human emotions as well.
Yeah.
We don't know her position, but
Yeah, it can be.
yeah,
It
like,
can be. Yeah.
and again, kind listeners, you,
Please
yeah,
share your point of view.
yeah, you are the judge. You can comment. Probably many of you may recall the B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata and the episode from there. So even based on that memory, you can make comments.
And now that you are mentioning that,
Mm-hmm.
in the series, she is portrayed, thank you, in a very nonchalant way.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's the baby on the water, off I go. And when you read the book, this retelling, first she's doing a ritual, doing mantra. When she's coming back, she's in pain. So there's a connection between her and the babies, and
Yeah.
for sure each time that she threw the baby on the water, her divine part was, okay, I'm fulfilling my my purpose. But the human part, and knowing that all of it would hurt Shantanu,
Hmm.
um, it was dreadful.
Yeah. And that's what I also feel. There's a book Ganga and there's the serial Ganga.
Mhm.
And the book Ganga is more human. Like in the serial, you see her walking on waters and then coming to Shantanu, which itself should give something about her
Yeah,
divineness. But in the book, he just
he doesn't know that he is Ganga.
yeah, he meets her at the banks of Ganga and therefore calls her Ganga.
Yeah,
And there she's much more human. But I liked the way the book described her, and I especially observed the dichotomy in her. Like she's gentle to the smallest living being and still killing her own sons.
yeah,
So I the writing, especially in this chapter, I really loved it in many places.
yeah. True, true. You know, in about the loneliness of whom I thought about,
Mm-hmm.
the wives of the Vasus.
Oh, I didn't think about that at all. But how long they were alone?
Well, you know, seven of them, it was not that long,
Nine
and
months, yeah.
9 months, but the last one, Prabhas,
Oh,
that was,
probably 200 years.
you know, that was a lot of time. I think she
Yeah.
would, not talking about guilt,
Hmm.
but she would, I think she would feel lonely.
Yeah. Would you would you like to talk about this incident of the eight Vasus stealing the cows?
Oh yeah, and that's like, I think
Mm-hmm.
our fascist,
Hmm.
he felt lonely. It
Big
was his daughter.
and vice versa. The cow, she may
Yeah,
have the cow and the calf.
if we accept the fact that animals have human emotions.
Oh, I think they have.
Yeah,
They are. At least at that level, I feel.
I agree
Yeah,
with you, but
a
we
cow
can
and a
we
dog.
need to be open to any perspective.
Yeah,
I think yeah, they felt very lonely.
yeah. When we started the chapter, we actually thought we are not going to find the theme.
Yeah.
I can tell my kind listeners how we chose the theme. I was just working at my desk. Leo comes to me with 4 or 5 themes and just asked me to pick one. And I just picked the loneliness. And when we started the chapter, I first thought, where is loneliness? But I think as we started reading it, and at least this aspect, I couldn't think of Vasu's wives being lonely. But I was also thinking it in this way. It's a lot of there are a lot of curses in this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole Shantanu and Ganga family is cursed.
Yeah.
And I when we were talking about Vasu's wives, I felt they also are going through a curse in some way. Like they had to suffer being lonely, being away from their husbands for nine
Probably they
months.
have some other curse.
Yeah, like at least that is not mentioned in the
I
text.
know.
But yeah, but and I was very surprised. I made a note of this that the Shantanu and his whole family is cursed, uh,
Yeah.
which is something. But um,
Oh God, but that's like Bharat is cursed.
Bharat is cursed, like whole India. You are saying,
No, not all India.
yeah, yeah. But so I made a note of that thing that the whole family is cursed. But one thing which they I don't know if it was from this chapter because I made a note of something where they say that from this curse uh, there will be a
It's
germ of
yeah,
the
the germ of a deep destiny was hidden in that curse.
yeah, I made a
There were
note.
mysterious designs to
Hmm.
be accomplished by it on
Yeah.
Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the in the second
Oh yeah.
chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I in a sense that line gives a context to the reader that it's not that bad.
It's not that bad, okay?
Because in all honesty, I was thinking whether the curse which Mahabhishek
Was
and
a curse
Ganga,
or a blessing?
yeah, was a curse or a blessing. Like the gods were like, okay, you two want each other, we give you an opportunity, go
I
for it.
I think, and the book mentions that to be bound to a chthonic flesh. So
Mm-hmm.
when you experience complete freedom, and for Ganga, it's not easy to be b- bound to a limited vessel.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, for Mahabhishek, I don't know if he was in some intermediate stage, and because he was called, there was a specific name given to him that maybe,
Sudharma.
yeah, Sudharma.
Hmm.
Maybe it's also a curse, but and maybe
Hmm.
experiencing love in the human shape is too limiting for from the point of view of a divine being.
Yeah, that can be a thing. But maybe it's also rewarding. It's rewarding because it's limited in time.
Yeah,
So, yeah, like, and I just felt that that curse was not that bad.
there was another designs.
Yeah. Like that curse was not that bad because they both wanted each other, and the gods decided that okay, if this is what you want, here is an opportunity. What I feel is an underlying message here is that falling in love and then you know and then kind of living that love is two different things. When you
Mm-hmm.
are living the love, you will go through pain and suffering and like with your partner, you may not be on common grounds on
Mm-hmm.
many things, and the key there is to still keep on investing and stay connected,
Mm-hmm.
which I think Shantanu, though it was a dreadful promise, it was a hideous promise to make, but he made it and he kept it for such a long time,
7 years or
or
8 years.
probably more. Like, if even if we say that okay, each baby is 1.5 years apart or something, probably 7 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And at least in the series, we see he's getting pressured from his ministers, from his royal priest, and the people are talking. So it's I think 7 or 10 agonizing years. And if I believe from the text that Ganga was in a human form that time, probably.
And you know what? Ganga, if she wanted,
Hmm.
she could have told him something to
So I actually
stop his agony.
I actually made a note on this. So in the book, when Ganga takes the first baby to the river, she tells the guards that she is going to river, and I was thinking to myself that there was no reason to tell the guards. Why would she do that? But then what I felt was, because Shantanu was able to follow her and he saw what she did, he may not know the reason, but at least he got the closure that the
Yeah,
baby has died.
yeah, yeah,
So, and what I felt was, maybe the whole story is designed in this way that Shantanu is a human. He may never get this perspective that killing someone is freeing them from a curse.
yeah.
So maybe even if she has explained him something.
I don't know, but it's not even. Sometimes it's not even explained. And you see that at the end.
Hmm.
But through those years, she could have told him something like, I know that looks terrible. I know that you are not authorized to make me any question, but trust me, I'm not a demon.
Hmm.
Something. But probably, the story had to be this way.
Maybe, yeah.
Did you see loneliness anywhere else in our
I think
chapters?
we have covered more or less the instances where we found the theme.
At
That's
the end.
at the end, yeah. Shantanu was,
Like, I can't,
yeah.
I can't, this one is like, okay, he goes through 8 or 7 to 10 years of pure agony.
Hmm.
He starts questioning himself if the wife was a demon. He finally knows the truth,
Hmm.
and she goes away
Yeah.
with his son.
Yeah.
I is it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. It is
I think I will use
heartbreaking.
this term many, many times in
Yeah.
in this book.
It is heartbreaking, and I actually wrote that Shantanu is lonely again, but this time in physical sense as well. At least earlier he had
Yeah, it was a
another,
mental, emotional
yeah,
state.
another being around him. And as per the text, she was a great companion,
Hmm.
and at least she was bringing something to his life, and even that was gone.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was really something to see. And in series they show how he goes to the banks of the Ganga and watching the river and thinking if she will come up, she will come back. So I can totally understand that state.
yeah. The book it's more um, masculine, I think, in a way, in the sense of he decided to focus completely, and Hastinapur was
Yeah.
a very rich kingdom, and everybody was happy because he decided to channel all his energy into the kingdom.
Yeah.
Well, I know that coping mechanism very well. Yeah.
And I think that's how that's how things work. Maybe like you can only go two ways. Either you can become super efficient and focus on yourself, or you can simply become depressed or devastated. I don't think there is any middle path here.
Yeah, but what I see, well, or my perception is in the book,
Mm-hmm.
you have a Shantanu that it's a bit more stoic
Yeah,
than the Shantanu in the series.
yeah. No. And I'll be honest, I'm a big fan of the portrayal of Shantanu in the series. And like I like the actor. Whatever he has done, he's a good actor. And yeah, I think this was my observation for loneliness. Did you see anything else?
From the top of my mind, no, I don't
Okay.
remember any other instance.
I I
There,
have yeah,
go ahead.
I have some interesting parallels which I saw. I don't know if you observed them. One parallel was death of seven sons and then the eighth one survive. This is a parallel with the story of Krishna.
Yeah,
That was one thing which I saw. Second, what I felt was that Ganga shows her divine form to Shantanu, and I thought of Krishna
Krishna.
showing his divine form to Arjun, which will happen later. If you are not aware about these things, all this will happen. But
A lot
yeah,
of foreshadowing.
yeah, I liked those parallels. I felt like unless you show something credible, humans are not designed to believe something. I I like I think when Ganga showed her divine self to him, then it became a case that okay, now whatever story she's about to
Yeah.
tell, it makes sense. So yeah, so that were the parallels which I made note of. Did you?
There was one thing that I noticed. So Shantanu met Ganga at the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
At least the drownings that they are described in the book, they are at sunset.
Mm-hmm.
However, the eighth sun, it's at dawn. So dawn,
Oh,
it's always the start of a new chapter, a new era, something different.
okay.
And that was the
I totally overlooked that thing, but it's a good observation. I would say it's a great observation, and yeah, probably. I think again it comes to writing,
yeah,
like as an author, if you want to, because it's your story, whatever you want to establish.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
I appreciated that detail.
yeah.
And there was any sentence that, made you think, made you reflect, something that that was inspiring for you.
I just felt this line, which Ganga says in the end to Shantanu, that nothing is hidden, nor ever shall be. Our time together is past. So, our time together is past, probably in that context. I get it. But specifically, this part that nothing is hidden, nor ever shall be, to me, it felt something. Yeah, like when Shantanu is proposing that I can come here and we can meet in secret, I felt it was a lot of foreshadowing for what all is about to happen in this story, and especially the bad guys
Mm.
thinking that they will not be judged by the history. The
Mm.
bad guys, or even the weak guys,
Mm-hmm.
thinking that they will not be judged by the history. I think probably I took it as a foreshadowing. I took it as something that history will not be kind to anyone, and whatever you do will be revealed, and people will judge you for your actions.
Oh, interesting. My sentence,
Mm-hmm.
and thank you for your analysis and understanding of the sentence. Uh, I actually picked exactly the same
Mm-hmm.
sentence. Nothing is hidden, nor ever shall be. But I saw it in a completely different way.
Go ahead.
And it made me think about a tale, and I will try to be very short, and I don't remember very brief, and I don't remember the tradition, but it was in an ashram, let's say, and the master tell to the disciples, look, our ashram, it's falling apart. We don't have money. We need to restore our ashram for the monsoons. Exceptionally, and only this time, can you go into the city and steal some material, as long as nobody sees it. So everyone goes except one. And after the master comes and asks him, why didn't you go? And he answers, because I'll be watching.
Yeah.
And for me was that perception of, even if you think you are hiding, you can never hide from yourself.
Yeah.
And if you try to hide from yourself, then call a therapist. I don't know. I don't know who's the therapist I've got, or if there's any therapist. Probably the priest of the family would be the closer to a therapist. But there's no hiding, and there's no possibility of being completely in secret. And even that secret will, in a way, corrupt yourself.
Makes sense. And it was a good story. I've also heard some similar version of this. But yeah, and I think it's always a philosophical question that if I'm watching myself, am I even one person? Because there is something in me who keeps on watching me.
Well, this is philosophical, but from my perspective, you are the one that it's watching.
Yeah, yeah. Like, again, kind listeners,
Rabbit hole.
please go ahead and just share your opinions. You can also share your opinions on that statement itself. Nothing is hidden nor ever shall be. We would be interested to hear some other perspectives as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Mayank, can you tell us who do you want to naman?
Yeah, for the kind listeners, the practice of Naman is our reverent acknowledgement. And if I have to think, I think there were many candidates, but after reading the chapter, and I feel the burden which Shantanu felt is just too much. So I like seeing your 7 sons die and you can't say anything about it. I think it's the beginning in that's the start in Mahabharata where helplessness starts. And I see a reflection of Dhritarashtra in Shantanu. So probably this also made me now a little bit kinder towards Dhritarashtra. And if people,
Don't be concerned if you don't know who this guy is.
yeah,
Okay.
he's a descendant of Shantanu and a major role in Mahabharata. But essentially, like I just felt that his helplessness was something which was too much to bear. Yes, he should have asked Ganga, he should have confronted her. But the way she has been described in this chapter, that she is divine, and once she hugs him, he forgets each and everything in his life. I genuinely felt like it's like being addict to some strong drug like heroin or something, where even though if you know that you are doing something wrong, you can't help yourself. So therefore, my naman in this chapter is for Shantanu. And what about you?
Well, I thought I thought a lot about this, and I didn't come to a conclusion. And I was hoping that I would, have light through our conversation, but I didn't. Anyway, what comes to me is actually Tunaman Prabhas.
Prabhas? Yeah.
Prabhas. Because first, he knew that was wrong to steal the cow. He've done it anyway because of his ego, yes, but he've done it. He repent himself, but he incarnated again. And I don't think, anyone wants to have a life like he had.
Hmm.
And I respect the people that make mistakes and go through their penancy, and even knowing that they can choose when to die,
Hmm.
they keep going through the pain and suffering. So yeah.
Yeah, and if our kind listeners don't know, the reincarnation of Prabhas is something very famous in the in the story of Mahabharata,
Yeah.
and you will get. I think we will get a lot of places to naman Prabhas again in his this new life. But one thing I think I would just like to tell the kind listeners here, which Leo mentioned, and full credit to her for this. I think when we were watching Mahabharata or somewhere, she mentioned this to me that the curse of so Prabhas was eventually reborn as Bhishma. So just to give the
Yeah.
context, that the curse of Bhishma started even
Before.
before getting the curse from Vashishta. And the tragedy of his life is that he has to do things which he doesn't want to. Like
Yeah.
in this chapter, he didn't want to steal the cow,
Yeah.
but
He
he
did.
had to. And yeah, he did. His wife made some comments. Yeah, I get it. Obviously, the choices are in the end in your hands, but he probably always felt little helpless, like
Yeah.
as if he doesn't have full control on his life. And I genuinely liked this parallel that the curse of Bhishma actually started even before he got the curse from Vashisht, because he always had to follow something which he didn't like, and even as Prabhas, he had to do something for his wife which he was not into.
Yeah. And I think that's it for today.
Yeah. Uh, and we would like our kind listeners to like, share, and subscribe us, and share the word with your friends and family if you are liking whatever we are doing. Um, we would be live more or less every Saturday around this time, and we hope to see you soon
Yes.
in our next chapter with our next theme, which we haven't planned yet what it
No,
will be.
but we know that we will read The River Sun and A Scent of Heaven.
Yeah.
So join us, have fun, and share your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.